Alive with Zeropia. This is going to be called Planning for Wellbeing. I'm Naomi. I'm a wellbeing coach here at Zeropia. I've been here for almost a year now, and this is Kay.
Hi.
Kay's also a wellbeing coach. We're going to really try and focus on talking about planning for your well-being and the benefits of that, and why it's important as well, and how you can start to make it a priority. So we're going to really start looking at that today. So Kay, what do you think about well-being planning? So we've got some questions. You really enjoy well-being planning, don't you?
I do, yeah. I think I've always been somebody that enjoys planning and writing things down, and
naturally,
yeah. And if I don't do it, then I don't follow through with my goals that I want, even just for that day.
Yeah, so you find it really, really important for your daily life and to have that routine and schedule?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. So we've got some questions as well. So we want to pop those questions up. If you have any questions or you want to comment on our live, please do. We really actively encourage you to have a discussion with us and talk about how you plan your well-being, and if you struggle with it, if it's something that's really important to you, or if you feel like you need some help around sort of scheduling in your well-being into your routine, just let us know. Give us a comment on the chat, and then we can have a discussion about it. So the first question is, what is wellbeing planning? This is a pretty good question. What is wellbeing planning? Kay, what would you say your version of wellbeing planning was?
I think it's about remembering, not only to plan in things that you think normally would, like your doctor's appointment, your dentist appointment, but to just remember to plan in time for yourself. So if you think, oh, I really want to paint my nails this weekend, plan it, put it in there.
Yeah, so it's like about prioritizing your well-being, as well as prioritizing other stuff, like important stuff, like doctor's appointments and things like that. We also need to be making our own well-being a priority. And to do that, there's lots of different tools and things we're going to go through this afternoon. I've only got half an hour, but we're going to see what we can fit in with that. So well-being planning, and you said you're naturally sort of like a bit of a planner anyway, and you like to have, like, she's got like a little notebook, haven't you, everything in there, and it's all really like scheduled and stuff, and so it can be really, really natural for some people, but for other people it can be like not as natural. I'm definitely the opposite of that. I'm really sort of unscheduled. I have a calendar. If it's on the calendar, it will get done, but otherwise I'm not very good at routine and planning. But well-being needs to definitely be a priority. So I feel like planning for well-being is really important, and trying to fit that into your daily lives, and tools around doing that, I suppose.
Yeah, and I know sort of finding that motivation can be really tricky at times. And hopefully we can give you a few sort of tools on how to manage that a bit later.
Yeah, definitely. Next question. How can planning benefit my mental well-being? So how has it benefited your well-being? What does it do for you, Kay?
I guess it encourages me to actually prioritize myself, plan in that me time, as well. And again, just making sure that I don't miss things that I need to attend. I mean, I even have in my calendar on my phone, I even have like work scheduled in. So I know that between 9 and 5 I'll be at work. Yeah, so I know this.
I think it's definitely important. I feel like sometimes when we're really, really low, and when we're feeling really, really low, and that motivation just isn't there to do the basic things, let alone planning in our well-being. So when that motivation isn't there, I feel like discipline and routine needs to kick in, and we have to have those routines and be disciplined with ourselves in order to get our needs met, and not just the basic needs, the needs of our well-being, and putting ourselves as a priority as well. I definitely do that. I started doing yoga in the past year since lockdown, and I schedule it in twice a week, because it's difficult. I'm a single parent to 3 boys, so it's quite busy. Obviously work here at Zeropia, so that time is so important for me to be able to have that like 2 hours a week set aside to be able to just make sure that I do that. It's good for my physical health, and it's good for my mental clarity as well. So it's really important that I do schedule that in.
Yeah, I also find it quite useful to like go back through and think, oh yeah, I've achieved all that today. I've done that. And the same as if you think, oh, I didn't quite manage that today, then I reschedule it. for another day. And I might put it in a different color so that I know it's on a different day, and it's like, okay, this is now like a priority that I need to do this.
Definitely. And I think some days we haven't got that push, we haven't got that sort of discipline, we're feeling really low, and that's totally okay not to push or not to try and force ourselves to do things that we feel like we should do. Shouldn't feel bad about it, because like you said, we can just push it to a different day when we feel like we're able to. Because sometimes I'm just like, I do not want to exercise today, I do not want to do yoga, I don't want to do that, which is perfectly okay, because I know more than likely the next day or the day after I will feel like I want to do it then. So yeah, not feeling feeling bad, making yourself sort of feel bad for not putting it in, that's important as well.
And there's no kind of, it might just be that you just need to plan one day at a time. The amount of time that you plan is down to you, but also making that time to plan what you're going to do can also really help.
Massively, yeah, definitely, I agree. Has anyone got any comments? Any comments yet? No? Fine. What have we got next? So, what can I do about it? Have we skipped a question? I don't think we have, have we? What can I do about it? What can we do about it?
What can we do about it? I guess it's just looking at our wording of how we plan things is quite important. So there's some sort of things you can look at when you're planning. So things that I have to do. And then making sure that there's also things on there that you enjoy doing and that you get satisfaction from. And then things that you get like a sense of social connection from. So it might be just, making that initial contact with friends and just saying, oh, let's just go to a cafe, but plan it and then write it down. But, writing it down as on Tuesday at 1 p.m, I will go to the cafe. Because if you write it sort of that way, you're more likely to follow through with that plan that you have.
You're holding yourself accountable, aren't you? If you're saying, I will do this on this day at this time, it's going to be scheduled in, and you're holding yourself accountable, which is, you're more than likely going to do that if you write it in that way. Because a lot of the times we can just put it in as in, this is happening at this time. But a lot of the time it doesn't happen because we're not holding ourselves accountable enough. There's not enough weight behind it. So it is really important about how we're wording things. So behavioral activation it's called, and it's, so Kay just said, it's like if you're really struggling on one day and you're not feeling like you're able to push yourself to get out and about, so there's 3 things you can do. So the first thing is one thing that you have to do. So one thing might be, I have to do the washing up today. That's one thing that I have to do. The second thing is one thing that you enjoy doing or brings you a sense of enjoyment or satisfaction. So that would be maybe go for a walk. I like to go for a walk in the woods. That really helps me. So that would be go for a walk in the woods. And number 3 would be something that gives you a social connection. And that can be even just something as small as sending a message to somebody just to say, how are you today? What I normally do is ring my best friend. I'll give her a call, check on her, and I know that I can talk to her about pretty much anything, which is really, really important to have, to fit those things in, those 3 things. If you can do that in one day when you're feeling really low, you're going to feel so much more like a sense of purpose. You're going to feel like you've really been able to push through, and you're probably going to enjoy your day much more.
Yeah, we've got Ruth that's commented.
Hi, Ruth.
Saying that she likes to use the phrase that these are the things I get to do rather than I have to do. I really like that.
I like that.
That makes it feel
cool.
More meaningful.
Yeah, definitely. Things that you get to do, things that you think that you get to do for you.
Yeah.
And that's so important. It's really important because life's busy, it's hectic, it's full of lots of things that we have to do. So changing that phrasing, Ruth, is really good. Just changing it to what you get to do is really, really important. Our well-being and everything is important too, and we need to start scheduling this into our routines every day. Because if we don't, then it's just going to fall by the wayside, and we're going to forget about us essentially and who we are and what we need to keep us well. And I feel like that's really, really important.
Yeah, so there are some other things that we can use when planning, and it's called SMART, is the acronym of it. So it's like specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timed. So we'll just give a bit of an explanation as to what they mean. So when you're planning something, it's to be specific about it. So it's sort of like the W questions, you know, what do I want to accomplish? Why is it important? Who is involved? Where is it going to be? And what resources do I need to achieve that goal?
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that a lot. I've not heard of that. So yeah, but you really like that, don't you? That sort of like way of putting it and sort of seeing it. And yeah, it's really important to sort of get a grasp of what well-being is and how to be able to do that. I've got a little something that I wanted to read out as well. So this is something that I feel like is, you know, when that motivation's gone and there's no motivation and you're struggling to get that going. Well, something that I really find beneficial is just pushing against it and just forcing myself to do things that I don't necessarily want to do, and like trying to push myself out of my comfort zone. And a lot of it, I think, is about the way we're thinking and things like that as well. So I just want to read out something that I found really helpful. So it's called The Push, and I'm just going to go with it. So depressed means deep rest, or can also be explained as low mood. For a while, this can be crucial to healing past experiences and can be an emotional state that we need to be in for a short period of time to recuperate. But if we remain in this state for too long, we can become stuck and it's no longer serving us and becomes toxic to our well-being. We become consumed by this feeling and can see no way out. Therefore, we end up staying in low mood for months or even years. This is when we need to push. We need to push our way out of it. And it's the same with, planning things and getting that routine going as well. So your mind has to be stronger than your emotions. So when you're lacking in motivation and you don't want to do things that will make us feel better, like going for a walk or socializing, or even small things like washing and eating, this is when discipline needs to kick in. We have to push ourselves to do these things. It's a bit like being your own parent in a way. So I really like that sort of like quote, being your own parent. It's a lot like that. We have to be firm with ourselves. We can do this by taking small manageable steps, by using a planner like we've been talking about today, setting an alarm with daily tasks, or literally just pushing ourselves against the tide and just doing it. The push comes from a place of pure frustration of being unwell and stuck in this low mood and really with no motivation. And after a short period of time, if we continue to keep pushing this and we keep setting these routines and we keep following through with what we're doing with the wellbeing planning, then the push that we keep doing starts to push us, because that motivation kicks in and we become hungry again, hungry for life and the things that make us happy. And we begin to enjoy life again. But we must push to find that light that we're looking for. And the only person that can do this is you. So I really kind of like that, in a way of just, sometimes it's just like pure frustration of just pushing ourselves to do things that we're uncomfortable with and getting used to being uncomfortable. Comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's it. There we go. Definitely. Yeah, I think it's a lot about that. So yeah, I thought that was something that was quite relevant to wellbeing planning as well.
Yeah, definitely. Ruth just said that she uses a journal to write a list of things that she's grateful for during the day, and I know a lot of people that do that, and I have also done that. And as she said, something simple as just a smile from a stranger, is something to,
I think gratitude is something really important that we need to be sort of like paying attention to as well, because we can get so stuck in all the negative things, and I think what we focus on expands. And I think looking at what we're grateful for and the positive things in life is really important
definitely.
as well.
And when it comes to planning, it's like, making sure that what you're planning is achievable for you, so that you know that you can achieve this, and that it is like realistic, and just thinking about, is it the right time to make this plan, and how far in advance you want this plan to be.
Definitely. And I think it's like we were saying, what we always say as European with the workshops and things like that as well, is it's got to be small manageable steps. So small things that you feel like you can achieve in a day, because we can write these lists of all these things that we need to be doing, and it can get really overwhelming, and we can end up feeling like a failure if we don't do those things. So it's important not to overwhelm ourselves with what we're putting down and what we're trying to achieve. So small manageable steps all the time. It's important.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. So journaling, like Ruth said as well, that's something that's really important, and it's really helpful to be able to see what we're positive about and what we're negative about as well. I think negative things, somebody was saying the other day actually that I was talking to, they would write down negative things, which is great to get it out of your head and onto paper. Brilliant idea. It's really I really encourage that. But not keeping hold of it. I think something is important to actually throw it away, especially if it's negative. To throw it, once you've written it down and got it out of your head, then throw it away. I think that's important. You could even plan in with wellbeing planning, for 10 minutes a day I'm going to write in my journal and write down what I'm grateful for. You could involve that into your wellbeing planning, couldn't you, in a day?
So sort of getting organized and again looking at those achievements that you have made, and what you can learn from it.
Massively. I want to go back to the other question. I feel like that was quite heavy, and I feel like that might be something we can go back to. So how can planning benefit my mental well-being? So we spoke about this earlier. Okay, what do you think? How does it help your mental well-being?
I think it definitely helps me to just look at myself, and looking at yourself isn't being selfish. It's just prioritizing. You have to look after yourself to be able to look after others.
Definitely.
So it definitely helps me just to keep a track of what I'm doing. I mean, I have an alarm on my phone every day that just reminds me to take my medication at lunchtime, because life can be busy and I just forget.
Definitely. And it's about prioritizing, isn't it, yourself, and it's also giving you like intention and purpose, and it's massively important to our well-being.
And it reduces my anxiety, because I kind of think, okay, I know this is what I'm planning to do, and as much as you'd like your day to be as planned as you can be, things do crop up and get in the way, but at least I know that I've planned in to do things at times.
Definitely.
And then hopefully I will get to do most of them throughout that day.
Yeah, exactly. And this is like we were saying, if we keep our minds love routine, even if we don't, and if we keep setting in these routines and these little manageable steps moving forwards, we're inevitably going to get that motivation that we're looking for, because we'll do things that are fulfilling us and making us feel good, and we're going to feel motivated then. I felt really good after I went for that walk, or I felt really good after I just spent an hour doing a bit of yoga, or 10 minutes doing something that I actually enjoyed. And that's when that motivation will kick in, which is great. Ruth said that I agree with Kay, self-love and attention is so important.
Definitely.
It really is. And I like the statement that you said, that it's not selfish to be taking care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup, can you? And I think this is well-being. Planning well-being is essential in everybody's life, and it should be something that we start prioritizing, because like I said earlier, just falling, if it falls away to the wayside, it's not going to be something, it's not going to be great for our mental health. So paying attention to that is really important.
And it's sort of setting goals that actually matter to you. It does, even if your goal is just to do the washing up, if that's something that's relevant for you at that time, then that's absolutely fine.
Definitely. I think we're going to leave it there. I think that's everything. I think we've covered all the topics we were going to cover today. I just really want to say, if you guys want to know more about Iseropia, just have a look at the website. We've got a really good website. It's called Iseropia Foundation, and we've also got a number which is up on the screen for you to give us a call. There's a really big team of people. We've got 25 wellbeing coaches. We've all got lived experience in mental health, and we really want to be encouraging you to come on board. We've got lots of different workshops to get involved in as well. We've got a wellbeing planning workshop coming back in as well. We've got a new inner critic workshop, which is a lot around negative self-talk as well, which I really love that, because it really helps you to understand what's going on with that as well. So if you need any advice or just want to have a chat, please give us a call. And it was really nice to see you today. See you later.
Thank you very much. Bye.